Thomas Edison's career represents a multitude of interests and ideas. Here in his machine shop, he said he could build anything from a lady's watch to a locomotive. Well, Edison pursued countless projects at once, but sometimes a scientist branches off from one path only to realize that what she thought was a small detour has taken on a life of its own. This is a story about a hobby and a handful of seeds that led entomologist Sally Fox in a new direction. She's not exactly like Jack and the Beanstalk, but Sally Fox put these seeds in the ground and cultivated a brand new area of the textile industry that grew and grew. Fox began her journey unexpectedly. She was advising a cotton breeder on insect control when she discovered an unusual bag of cotton seeds in his office.
But the cotton wasn't white. It was the seed with lint surrounding it, and the lint was brown.
Fox had stumbled upon brown cotton. She knew plants had produced colored cotton balls, which Fox calls lint, in Latin America for centuries. But the plants were too large and the fibers too short to be attractive to American commercial farmers. She was intrigued anyway.
I asked him, well, what about the color? It's a great color. How about improving the fiber so you could use this? And he said, well, nobody wants colored cotton, and there's no market for it. And I said, well, why doesn't somebody create a market for it? It's great, you don't have to dye it. And he said, well, why don't you do it?
Fox's hobby was hand spinning, so she already understood a lot about cotton, but not everything.
I didn't know that you could not improve the fiber easily through plant breeding. I thought it would be fairly straightforward. And then, wham, it's extremely complex. But by then I was hooked. The color had captivated me.
But it was more than the color that convinced Fox to develop this cotton.
First of all, the plants are more vigorous. They're farmed with fewer pesticides. The next benefit is you don't have to bleach it or dye it, and dyes produce toxic waste. I am very focused environmentally, and so if something is good for the environment and it's beautiful, I'm really enthused about it.
Fox experimented in her spare time, cross-pollinating her plants with white cotton, which had the longer, stronger fibers she wanted. Soon the plants filled a whole garden, and Fox discovered they could produce more than just brown cotton.
When I came across a plant that had green lint, this was completely surprising and shocking to me, and it was the most amazing moment because it allowed me to believe that there are other colors that are in the brown. Ooh, it's neat.
Fox decided then she would risk everything for the chance to develop colored cotton. She left her job in San Diego, moved to California's San Joaquin Valley, and borrowed money from her family to buy a breeding farm.
If I failed, okay, well, a lot of other people failed too, but if I succeeded, then finally, I don't know, it just felt like the culmination of everything of myself.
It's taken 11 years of patiently cross-pollinating cotton flowers and analyzing lint, but success is finally at Fox's doorstep. In 1989, she started her own company, Natural Cotton Colors, and named her cotton Fox Fibre. Today, her brown and green cottons are being commercially farmed and machine spun. The result? Fabrics and clothes on the ecological cutting edge, and a multi-million-dollar business.
She has started what I think is really the beginning of a whole revolution in the clothing and the fashion industry. Sally has figured out a modern-day way of doing something that gives people color and fashion without the atrocious and dangerous effects that dyeing usually has on the environment.
Fiber's processed real well so far.
Great.
This is where Fox can watch her cotton put to the test. Dixie Yarns in Chattanooga, Tennessee, processes Fox's cotton into yarns and threads for many manufacturers. Her fibers are often mixed with white cotton to achieve different degrees of color and fiber strength.
You see things running smoothly. You walk along and all the little threads are going and it's spinning. I feel just tremendous.
Fox also meets with the people who develop products from her cotton, like Nancy Webster of Fieldcrest Cannon.
It's so amazing to me to see this because this is exactly what I imagined in the first place. When I began breeding this cotton, my first idea was this is cotton that could look like silk. It would have the look and feel of silk, but the ease of cotton.
It's real interesting to see that it has the hand, the softness, but it has a sheen that's really characteristic of silk also.
Other companies like Esprit, Levi's, LL Bean, and Land's End are gradually introducing Fox Fibre products too. Where the public can find them, items like this $39 sweater are selling well.
The Fox Fibre really has something of appeal to seventh generation's customer base, and it's made those clothing items perform better than the other items in the catalog.
Still, there are marketing obstacles. Consumers have to be educated about colored cotton's environmental benefits. But if those benefits are stressed too much, sales of products made with dyed cotton could suffer in comparison.
The consumer says, well, okay, you've solved the problem here, and that's nice, but what about all the rest of the things that you sell? Change is evolutionary. It comes one step at a time, and it takes manufacturers finding that one product like Fox Fibre and saying, okay, this is going to be our first step.
Although Sally Fox is fast becoming an insider in the world of fashion, she's still an outsider in the world of agriculture.
For some reason, the cotton industry as a whole, and in particular locally here in California, just became extremely sensitized to my cotton in a negative way.
California cotton farmers worry that the colored cotton on Fox's breeding farm might contaminate their white cotton fields. She recently decided to move to Arizona to avoid further conflicts. But none of that stops Fox from looking ahead. She's found even more colors in her cotton and is developing oranges, a brick red, and dark gray too.
There's a tremendous amount of work that you have to do to get your idea to come to life. But you're not going to do that work if you don't have the idea. If you don't have that inspiration, that love.
Fox has populated her farm with more than cotton. Her geese and dogs are as important to her as the plants.
The kind of wildlife and nature that interests me are the sorts of domesticated animals and domesticated plants. But I consider them a really important part of nature. It's where people and life have really strongly interacted with each other.
Sally Fox's science led her from bugs to brown cotton to big business, and she's not afraid to take her ideas straight to the top.
I sent Bill Clinton and Al Gore a Levi jacket out of my cotton, and I received thank you notes from them. It was really exciting. Al Gore wrote in his note that my business represented the kinds of businesses he felt are of the future, ones that bridge the environment and the economy. This is exactly what he believes in, and it's certainly what I believe in, and I'm so proud to have this letter. So I'm going to frame it and put it in my new office when I move to Arizona.